Okay, well, on camera it seems like it's got a bit darker, and I didn't notice it seemed like it got a bit darker in person as well, but that's probably just because I've got the light on. Anyway, I wanted to say that this is the second rest day out of the period. It's the final one before getting back to it, and I don't know how filming footage is gonna go for the next maybe less than a week, because I've got things to do. I've got this personal training stuff to go do, so I don't think I'll be filming. I don't think I'll be filming, but I'll still be having my sessions, and maybe I could do some reviews. Maybe I can write some notes down. I don't know. It depends if I have enough storage space to be able to keep that much footage, or maybe when I'm out I'll be able to upload them, which I think is going to be possible on the premise I just get that sorted if I get an internet connection when I'm out. But anyway, yeah, I at least feel physically ready to get back into it, but mentally I don't. I'm just focused on the tasks that I want to do. It's a whole lot. There's a whole lot of videos as well. Yeah, but it's not like I can't get through it. But yeah, as for the exercise stuff, I've done nothing as planned, or outside of shift anyway, which is like maybe in terms of steps, I don't know many steps I've done, but I've definitely done a lot of physical activity anyway. 13,781 steps that were recorded apparently. No, I can't easily show it. It's 8 minutes off. It's 6:21. But yeah, 13,871 steps, 6.636 miles apparently. Yeah, I did an abs workout that was half an hour, and then I did a 45-minute full body workout with coach for both of them. I didn't do all of them from start to finish, but in terms of physical activity outside of the steps, that's what I've gone and done, and a little bit of my own cycling as well. So that's quite a bit of physical activity. 10,000 steps is around about 1 hour 40 minutes of walking straight, no breaks. I did have breaks in between the walking, but so that means just overall, just in terms of walking, it's around about 170 minutes, which is it is less than 3 hours, I'd say. 2 hours 50 minutes of walking. That sounds realistic. In terms of like throughout a what is it? 14-hour stretch, 2 hours 50 minutes of walking is very realistic. But yeah, that's it. I want to get back to doing the workouts as planned if I can. Tomorrow should go fine because of when I've planned to do it, but just see how it goes really. Other than that, I'm done, and cheers to taking it easy on myself, listening to my body. I'm not experiencing any knee pain, any shoulder pain from carrying heavy weights. Also lopsided in terms of weight. Like sometimes I might carry more weight on one hand than the other. The less I do that, the better off my rear shoulder heads would probably be, because of how I carry it, like farmers carry for the dumbbells, the weight plates and the kettlebells and things like that. It definitely does all add up, and without warming up and stretching, I should stretch. Now that I think about it, for the sake of my own body, short and long term, when waking up I should stretch. That should be one of the other things I should do. Both when I do and don't have shifts, I should stretch. Otherwise I'm just going to be setting myself up for a lot of like shoulder pain and things like that. I can already tell that my shoulders have been clicking more than before. I don't think that's just because of age. I mean, I've only lived 21 years. I don't think it's age. It's just how much physical activity I've been doing without getting regular like physio appointments. For example, I've got to get myself checked out, make sure that I'm okay. Like knee pain, shoulder pain, all over the shoulder, but especially my back, maybe the rear head of my shoulders, maybe the side, not necessarily the front. that seems like it's fine, but yeah, it feels like the rear shoulder heads, especially on the right side today, as I was carrying weights, and maybe the upper back as well. It explains the strength increase in the pull-ups, because I'd be carrying all that weight and it'd be engaging my upper back muscles, which I would engage during pull-up, so it makes sense. And also, if I add lat pull downs and lateral raises into the workouts with the cable machines, then I think my pull-up game would definitely increase, especially with like abs workouts, and which would train the backside of the core as well a little bit. I definitely am set myself up in a stead to efficiently do pull-ups eventually, on the premise I directly work on them and indirectly work on them through different exercises that engage the upper back in different ways that I think I can do and don't really think about. Maybe now that I think about it, mindset would be why I find it difficult to do the pull-ups, because I think it's this big thing that I want to achieve, but some people don't think of it as that, and they can do so many pull-ups. Mindset thing. Maybe. I think I've heard on YouTube people, I remember hearing on YouTube some people think like that, thinking that they can't do it, so they don't. It's a mindset thing. So that's definitely something I could take to my workouts from now on. And what are the odds I would have had these sorts of thoughts if I hadn't had a rest day? Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm done. It just shows that I can give myself the opportunity to physically recover and not put myself on the verge of a physical breakdown when I listen to my body. And also I can have some more reflective thoughts. I give myself more of a space to reflect by doing this. This being having rest days as and when I think I need them, maybe even on a regular basis, to be more proactive about allowing myself to recover, even if it's doing less physical activity rather than being completely inactive in terms of achieving my own goals. That's something. Maybe half an hour instead of 2 hours. That's fine. Because I say I'd want to do 2 hours because I can see it's obvious that I can make progress within a 2 hour session. That's why I want to do them. Thinking about time, being time bound there has definitely helped. But anyway, I'll leave it there. I'm done. Tomorrow I'm going to go out my way to do a weightlifting full body workout to keep to my hours of doing 4 hours calisthenics, 4 hours weightlifting. I'm not sure if I'd be able to fit it all in with everything I've got going on with like the practical assessments, but when I'm out, I know that they've got gyms there, so I think if I just go out of my way to actually bother, because the resources are there, I can. Like, there's even calisthenics parks, so I just have to be bothered. I just have to care enough about myself to do it. But anyway, I'm down now, and cheers to working through my situation, working around the change that I've got for a short while, because I'll be doing the practical assessments and working around that and still achieving my goals regardless, because the resources are there and it's possible. Even if they won, there'll always be a flaw. The flaw's not going to just disappear. So I'll always have enough resources to be able to do it. If I've got my own equipment, or even if I just do bodyweight exercises, that's enough. That's enough, because I'm not seriously injured. I do feel a little bit of pain here and there, which probably would go away with a bit of stretching and enough GP appointments, physio appointments, but I'll be fine. I just have to keep on working toward it, and with financial health improvements, through physical and mental health improvements, through exercise, I'll get there. I'm not worried. That's fine. In my mind, I'm saying don't worry, so it's okay, I'll get there. Build on my physical and mental health, I'll then be able to have the mental capacity and the mindset and the physical readiness to do what it takes to be able to improve my financial health as I claim I'd want to do, which I have been doing through the job and the income source that I've been getting there. But man, that income source is probably going to expand potentially more than tenfold on a monthly basis. I mean, if I keep this up in a way that I feel comfortable with, that's not like extremely stressful or conflict heavy. I'd be around health oriented people and I'd be taking them seriously and they'd be taking me seriously, I'd like to imagine. And in terms of dealing with conflict, I'd imagine I'd be conflict evasive, because I don't know how to protect myself, I don't know how to fight. And even sometimes with the way how my dad would talk to me, threaten me, and because of his big stature, I'd feel unsafe sometimes. Hence, that would explain why I'd be conflict aversive or avoidant. I'll get there. In terms of learning how to fight, though, not to fight him, but just to feel more safe in those sorts of situations, I can go out my way to do what it takes with the physical readiness through exercise and the mental health, my mindset, mental state, through those things. I'm saying I can then do what it takes to have enough money coming in to do fight lessons and to build on my resourcefulness. And in this context, my ability to be able to protect myself and feel safe, at least more often than I do at this point. Yeah, I shouldn't have to feel unsafe, and maybe I could imagine myself maybe crying about something that to recover. I could be feeling very numb at the moment, but I feel physically tense, and I've associated that feeling with crying. I don't know why, but hey, if I do get to that point where I do cry to process my emotions about such things, as I was saying, with the way how I felt intimidated by my dad, through what my dad has said and how he's acted in arguments and things like that, then so be it. That's okay. And if I use those videos to help me out, and I think that's a healthy way of processing my emotions with things to recover and to move on from how I've been raised, then so be it. Yeah, at the moment, I wouldn't want to give that to a child or children, so I think I'd just be better off. The best way I could protect any future kids is just to not have them from those sorts of situations. It's just been stress. It's not like I have to have children. I just would rather not, because of such situations. I don't want to have that unnecessary burden on my head. People like my mum would say it's a blessing, but I don't think so. I think about death a lot. I think about how that's going to be, and I've worried about that. I've worried about being a murder victim on a daily basis, partially to help me go and do what it takes to learn how to fight, so I can feel more safe. But yeah, I think about not wanting to die and worrying about that sort of stuff. I don't need to put those sorts of thoughts. I don't need to create a child and make them have those sorts of thoughts as well. I just sometimes would have panic attacks in the past, or maybe anxiety attacks around the thought that one day I'm going to die, and maybe things will all just go black, and I just won't be able to experience. I wouldn't be able to experience anything because I'll be permanently unconscious, and perhaps conscious in my state of unconsciousness. I don't want that. I don't want to die, and there's no need to trouble people with those thoughts. I don't want to do that. I'd rather not. But yeah, because of how family life is gone and just existing, I'd rather not. But anyway, that is not related to this exercise log at all. However, these sorts of stuff is a reflection of my mind state, and it does explain where I'm at with perhaps being able to make more progress than I have at the moment, because I'd had these sorts of thoughts on my mind about being a murder victim, being shot in the head and slumping over a bench, falling over the bench, being completely conscious of what's going on, something like out of Call of Duty. I remember, and I think that sort of visualizations come from a campaign, a Call of Duty campaign. I think it was Warzone, or maybe Cold War or something, I don't know, where people were just getting shot in a car, and as they all get shot, they fall back, and then they just slump, and then they just see the white light. Like it seems like they are conscious of what's going on. Maybe they're still wide awake. They don't immediately lose consciousness. I don't want to die like that, and there's no need. I don't even live illegally to have those sorts of thoughts, but I think people don't need a reason nowadays, even if it's not mistaken identity, like something out of The Wire, like Michael just going up to a stranger and just shooting him in the head. Like people don't need a reason. Not that it's not, I don't say this to wish being a murder victim on myself, but it does partially explain maybe why I wasn't as committed to the exercises I could have been, because I'd have these thoughts both deep down and they'd rise to the surface because I haven't dealt with them. There's no need to try and motivate myself that way through fear. My dad would try and discipline me through instilling fear in me through how he'd act. I've spoken about that before, like slamming on the table, that sort of stuff. I felt shit scared about that. That happened maybe a year ago. I just wouldn't talk. I'd stonewall, I think it's called, because I thought I wasn't being listened to. That was my wording as a teenager. I've had enough of that sort of stuff. That hasn't happened recently, but yeah, I just don't want that. I don't want to freeze up anymore. And also just in general, again, like with thoughts of being a murder victim, I've had thoughts of someone snapping my neck on the train, just coming up behind me, sitting down, and then that's it. That's it. I'm done. That's how fragile life is. I remember maybe a personal trainer saying they understand how fragile there is, or they understand how mortal they are. Maybe I'm getting to that point as well. I don't know. I'd rather not be a murder victim. I'd rather not. But I can understand those thoughts could have come from maybe the Call of Duty games, and also the music that I listen to as well. Even though I'm not involved in a life in which my health and safety is constantly at risk, in which I could die, in which death is a common occupational hazard through murder. I'm not in that sort of way of life, but even still, even with the music lyrics, I've heard about stabbing people up for no reason. It definitely does. All of this stuff does play a part, even if I wouldn't be consciously willing to admit it when I listen to that sort of stuff. I like the instrumentals a lot. So could be conditioning, trying to be cool. I explicitly remember wanting to thinking that thought at 15. Now, 6 years later, here I am. That's where that sort of thought has led me. I had the mental capacity to think positively, positively life-changing decisions around that age. 16, I decided I wanted to really be honest, and that's followed through. Even though sometimes I think, why did I lie? That's very rare. Very rare. Alright, white lies, they're called. But yeah, anyway, I'll leave it at that. That's just something I can just think about off camera. Those sorts of things like that, music that I listen to, thoughts. I wouldn't, actually no, tell a lie, no I wouldn't. I'd force myself to have those thoughts as motivation to get myself to learn how to fight and stick to it. So I actually do make it easier for myself to stay safe beyond basic health and safety measures, like avoiding what you think is dangerous, or people who are doing something that seems risky or shady. Beyond that, that's not enough to stay safe, I don't think. Not that my parents taught me that, but that's my own opinion. And to be fair, it could be beyond just from like how adolescence, all the arguments and mindset to even make myself feel more angry to keep going, living a high quality of life as revenge. Honestly, I could counter that and say different people think differently. We don't live the same way of life at all. I'm very physically active. My parents aren't. They're overweight. My dad's obese. My mom's overweight. So physical activity is definitely a part of my life, whereas for them it's not. My mum would just complain about being overweight, and that sort of lack of physical activity would also partially explain why they wouldn't think about like learning how to fight or teaching their kids how to fight to further protect themselves beyond basic health and safety measures. Or to be fair, I could consider learning how to fight as a basic health and safety measure beyond just avoiding what you think is dangerous. In my opinion, I'd say from this point onward, on this day, 4th of October 2023, 6:39 p.m, I'd say it is. It does matter. You can't really see that. Wait, hold on. That was from November last year, but yeah. 6:39. I'm saying this is it. that is a basic health and safety measure, learning how to fight, because you might not be in a situation in which is dangerous and that you can avoid. Look at that. I put Buddy as a screensaver. Now I've actually got income. Manifesting. Yeah, it actually did pay off. It literally. I like those sorts of subliminal messages because it seems like it works. Not just that and only that. I would put the action in. I would put the work in. That's what directly works. But it's indirect measures to be able to live a more high quality of life. I say that with a universal credit card in my phone. It's just here. I think I'll always keep this for the rest of my life. And an alarm that I had for an 8:30 a.m. universal credit appointment to remember my roots of poverty, extreme poverty, and working out of that. That's my way of saying. That's my way of reminding myself where I've come from in terms of my way of life. Because I haven't come from generational wealth. I've come from poverty. And my parents saying they can't, not only to their children but to themselves. You can't do this. You can't do that. No, you can't pay for this. You can't do that. You can't afford this. No, you can't afford for things to go off. Can't afford maybe pay more for electricity for whatever reason. I don't know. Just that sort of stuff. But with how I'm deciding to live my life, I want to flip the script and break that norm and say I can, and not try and neglect myself from a basic sense of empowerment, which I wasn't given from my parents, at least as far as I remember anyway. But I think I'd just be saying that to align with my narrative, just feeling furious with my parents of how they raised me during my adolescence, being told, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, and just all the arguments from then on. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm done. I've stopped talking about the rest of the video, but all this stuff, I'll just say to end off, it does play a part into how I exercise and how I live my life, even how social interactions go, like family life, that does play a part in it. And they said it does, and I agree. That's one of the few things I can actually agree on with them. You can even hear in my tone of voice, I'm feeling a bit irritated through dehydration, but yeah, I can even tell that anger it does rise up when I think about such things. All the, in my opinion, injustices and the memories, not pleasant ones. Anyway, yeah, as to how my parents treated me, sometimes the arguments and stuff, even up to this point from a teenager. But anyway, I'm done. I'm not a teenager now. I'm 21, but yeah, I'm finished. I have to stop talking about the exercise logs. But yeah, as I said, I'll leave it at that. These sorts of things, they do play a part in why I work out, how often I work out, and the amount of progress I'm making. All I'd say is tell myself I can. And because family, in terms of location, are very close to me, in order to outdo that norm of you can't and not really being physically active, is to be around many, outweigh that norm by creating my own norm of being around so many health oriented people, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. Obviously having some time to myself too, but yeah, anyway, I came up with that because I saw someone was showing me their Fitbit watch, and it had all these contacts on it with how much physical activity they're doing, like steps or something like that. But anyway, I'm done now. If I don't end it now, I won't end it. But yeah, cheers to breaking that norm of poverty. I'm not necessarily for breaking norms if they do help people. Like if your parents are very physically healthy, they're active, and they treat you, in your opinion, they treat you well, like you have a healthy relationship, I wouldn't say break that norm and create destruction. But yeah, for what I view as my norm within my family and my parents, that's what I've got. And I'm not willing to just accept being told no anymore, and I haven't for a while now. And that is how I'll get my revenge from being told no, and all the intimidation from my dad and all the arguments. Nah, enough's enough. And say that while feeling dehydrated, so I could be under the influence. So So I'll drink up, but yeah, I'm done talking now. If I don't end it now, I won't end it. But cheers to breaking that norm. Cheers. It's definitely, it has been paying off, and it will just keep paying off if I keep progressing. So I'll just say, keep going, keep pursuing the health-oriented path. Keep going, but I can, instead of necessarily doing it out of anger toward all the arguments I've had with my parents and toward my own self through not reaching unrealistic expectations or doing X by a certain age or anything like that, or not getting X grades, I can do it out of enjoyment, out of love, out of passion. I can, but the anger's helped. It really has helped. And I even remember watching a YouTube video of Kobe Bryant speaking about using anger as motivation. So it's not necessarily an unhealthy thing unless I let it go overboard, which is the downside of using anger as motivation. It's not the healthiest of fuel, because it does run out quickly. Like, as I think about arguments when fighting, I'd only do it that punching bag, using a punching bag. Toward my dad in particular, I wouldn't even box for that long, just a couple of minutes, some hard hitting punches, but that'd be it. Thinking that's how I let off stress, thinking that he was the punching bag, of just punching. I even punched the wall, he heard it. I don't remember what I said, but yeah. Not like broke a hole in the wall, but it was just out of sheer frustration and anger, or maybe powerlessness, perceived powerlessness during that conversation. I don't remember what about, but maybe like not living in the space in which I'm the only tenant, something like that. Wanting space basically, but it didn't seem like I could get that space. So at the time, it didn't seem like there was a way out of that sort of anger, that frustration due to perceived powerlessness, maybe. But I'm done. As I said, all this does play a part into how I exercise, why I exercise, etc., along with me pursuing that healthier path of life, partially due to anger, probably predominantly because I got sick of mum telling me you're not doing anything. Let's just use this channel to prove her wrong in my mind. But anyway, if I don't end it now, I won't end it, so I'm gone. Bye. Cheers to moving on. Cheers to living healthier. Yeah, get there bit by bit. And I could process the emotions, probably would more than I am now, as and when I move out, maybe. But I really like it in this area. But I can have my space, just have my distance, leave the house. Yeah. They're not really physically active. It doesn't really seem like they get out like that. But yeah, anyway, I'm done now, peace. If I don't end it now, I won't end it.